It is January the 10th. It's Wednesday. Rise and shine. Good morning, everybody. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris, and this is Coffee Talk. How are ya? It's a lovely start to the day. Had some nastier storms come through yesterday, but that's a thing of the past. Now we get to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Look at this beautiful, beautiful start in Central Florida. The sun is shining. The temperatures are nice and cool, y'all. It is gorgeous. First warning, live Doppler radar, rain-free. Love to see that. Temperatures around town, live data showing 43 in Ocala, 47 in the villages. How's about that? 46 for us in Palm Coast. It's 48 degrees in Daytona Beach, 50 degrees in New Smyrna Beach, and even over here in Brevard County, I say over here, I'm not there. I'm not. But over there in Brevard County, we are looking lovely with 53 degrees in Melbourne. So it's a beautiful start. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Man, oh man, it's going to be nice. 56 by 11 o'clock. We'll climb to 60 1 o'clock and 64 degrees, our high temperature in the city. Nothing but sunshine today. 64 in the city. 62 Daytona Beach. Even the upper 60s isn't too bad over in Melbourne. So it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Man, oh man, good morning to you, my friends. And Stella, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Everybody waking up and enjoying the day. Jessica says over on YouTube, that was quite the temperature drop after the storm moved through. It was, wasn't it? Golly, it was nice. Frank, good morning to you, sir. David, Janet, good morning, good morning, good morning. Everyone good after those storms? Annie's asking. You know, the good news is, didn't really get significant storm reports. Let me dial up the old local storm report mode, if you will. Basically, our first warning live Doppler radar, which, by the way, like, you know I'm a nerd, and you know absolutely, you know that it's perhaps my absolute favorite tool in our tool chest, right? So there's the radar. Let me switch over. Storm reports, but instead of 3 hours, let me go to 24 hours. I don't think that we had anything significant. We had some wind gusts. All right. Now, first thing, let's head up to Flagler County. All right. Flagler County. Funnel cloud reported near Palm Coast. That was at about 5:02. Don't you throw up, Stella. I'm watching you. So had a funnel cloud reported at 5:02. All right, Daytona Beach. We'll just check you out. Looks like there's two there. Oh, no, there's just the one. All right. We will click you. Click that button. Click that button. Wind gust reported 43 miles an hour. And we had plenty of other wind gusts reported around Central Florida. In the Orlando area, for example, had some decent little wind gusts. Brevard, Lake County. Further to the north, had some wind damage. And then over here in the Panhandle, and I'm just going to clear this out a little bit. I'm going to turn off everything that isn't a tornado. Turn off wind. Turn off, there's no hail, no tropical, no marine. All right, so what you end up with there, these are all the locations for either tornadoes yesterday or funnel clouds. How can you tell the difference? Well, tornado is the tornado icon, whereas you notice here in Flagler County, it's a tornado attached to a cloud. That's your funnel cloud. So there was that report of a tornado over in the Tampa area, and I believe that actually was identified as an EF0, if memory serves. The roof of an apartment building at the incident address was damaged by a possible tornado. That was at 4:23, and of course we know that there was some pretty significant damage up here in the Panhandle yesterday. From tornadoes. So thankfully, that's not the case at all today. Again, I showed this to you, but we'll just reiterate it. We are looking much, much better forecast-wise today. Gorgeous weather thanks to high pressure in control. Now, looking ahead, we actually take that same front, start to bring in a few showers on Thursday. And then on Friday, another cold front moves through. The thing about this front, though, it doesn't look like it has as much atmospheric energy in our area. It looks like there is atmospheric energy, but most of that energy is going to be up to the north. So looking at Friday, we are under a level 1, a low-end threat, but a level 1 risk for strong to severe storms. But look up to the north, right? There's that level 2 and level 3 risk. So we'll have to see how this eventually plays out. But because of the fact that we are under that level 1 risk for strong to severe storms, yes, unfortunately, Friday for now is an impact day. It's not a first warning weather day. It's an impact day. Strong winds, isolated tornado a possibility. So there's that. Another opportunity for strong to severe storms. Good times. Now, that said, I don't think our high-resolution Futurecast model goes that far out, but we can dial it up and we can check, right? I'll go all the way to the end. Oh, it does. Oh, look at that. All right, so there's Friday. And it's going to be like... So first off, let's just back this up because Thursday has those showers. All right, so today, tomorrow, looking gorgeous. Here's your Thursday, clouds around, okay? Then through the day Thursday, we start to see some of those showers dialing in. Thursday, late day showers. Little pockets of heavier rain here or there, right? Overnight, a few showers. Friday morning, waking up to a few heavier pockets of rain here or there. Then through the afternoon, we're good. But it's going to be like, of course, it's like, don't make me wake up at midnight. I don't want to wake up at midnight. But late Friday into Saturday, could see a couple of storms moving on through. And that's basically at the end of the model run. But we can look on a longer range model. So there's those showers dialing up on Thursday. And then on Friday, as that storm system moves in. And again, I think most of the dynamics are up to the north, but you can see there's Friday afternoon. The longer range version of Futurecast at least is showing some popcorn thunderstorms firing up. So definitely something to watch. All right. Good times. Frank says my mom in Clearwater said it was pretty bad for her last night. Oh, it was definitely bad last night. Yeah. Vanessa, thank you to you and Tony for killing it last night. Never trust anyone. Oh, thank you very much, Vanessa, with compliments for our severe weather coverage yesterday. I appreciate it. Tony and I are always going to work hard, along with the rest of the First Warning Weather team, to keep you updated. That's why we call ourselves First Warning Weather, right? Speaking of last night, here's some of the wind gusts that we had registered around Central Florida. Orlando International Airport at 59 miles an hour. Had a 47 mile per hour wind gust in Leesburg, 46 in Port Orange, Maitland at 45, and Wildwood at 35. So there were definitely some wind gusts around Central Florida. Thankfully though, no big damage in our area, right? Judy says, love this weather today. Great job yesterday. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it. What a day yesterday, Jeannie says. You know, we get the severe weather, and it comes and it goes, and then we're done. It's funny. Before I ever touched the long-range forecasting, I always operated under this kind of premise, knowing weather is cyclical, right? And so kind of interesting, right? Evelyn says, I used to live in Panama City. They can't get a break. I know. And at some point, maybe what I'll do is I'll get our former intern, Dan Nyman, who was covering those storms yesterday. Maybe I'll get him to pop on Coffee Talk. Because I think yesterday was perhaps his first significant tornado event. And he was sending me some viewer emails that he had gotten. I trust that he won't be upset for me reading this, but it really struck me. Okay, so imagine you're a young meteorologist. Dan's a young guy, okay? And I really feel like this is a significant thing. So he says, one person said that they went downstairs because I said that it was their best chance to stay safe, and they lost most of the second floor of their house. Now, imagine being a young guy, you're doing your first severe weather event, and you get that kind of an email. Imagine that. That was him. I'll never forget the first email that I got. And my response to him was, you mattered. You impacted people. And I'll never forget mine. It was the middle of the night. There was a tropical system that was throwing tornado warnings. And my station, this was when I was in West Palm Beach, they were airing like reruns of I don't know. It was something completely old that nobody would be watching. And my news director and at the time my head weather guy was like, dude, just go. Like if there's anything that looks bad, just go. It's better than the garbage reruns we'd be airing. And I went on and I talked about it. And I talked for hours. And then this older lady came to the station on a day that I was off because she wanted to meet me. And I wasn't there. But she left this beautifully penned note that basically said her husband had just passed away. She was alone for the first time in her life. And while nothing damaged her house, it was her and I together that night. And in my field, you've got two types of people that want to be on TV doing the weather. Nerds and people that like to be on TV. Now, you can always tell because it's like, is it all about me TV or is it all about you TV? That's the way you can tell, right? Right? Am I trying to show you? Am I trying to insert myself into the story all the time? I mean, sometimes we do, but I don't think that I do this for that. God, I hope I don't do this for that. But you know, it was that moment that I was like, oh my God, I touched somebody. I really did. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'll never forget it. I hope Dan never forgets that. And to anyone else who has any interest in doing meteorology, I would imagine either you want to be on TV or my preferred method is you want to help somebody. And when you get that first truly impactful story, it will change your world. So I was glad to see that. But we'll have to get him on Coffee Talk to chat with him. It'd be interesting. A couple of you saying it hardly rained at your house. It's not going to hit everybody the same. Meanwhile, you know, it was nasty, nasty out. So it just depends on where you are. It's not going to hit everywhere. All right. Let's see here. I have a friend who lives there, and some of the pictures look pretty bad. Yeah. Victoria says, my parents' house was one street over from the tornado in Panama City Beach. They were very fortunate, but my heart hurts as they all just rebuilt and recovered from Michael. It is heartbreaking. That area just cannot get a break. It just cannot. They can't keep doing this up there in Panama City. They need to. They need to get a genuine moment of calm, for goodness sake. Oh, man. The ones that say they didn't get the storm had to be happy. A lot lost everything they had. Kristen, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. Tiffany says, grandmother said, these weather boys are talking nonstop. I'm shocked they still have a voice. We had bottles of water. So literally when I was doing the weather yesterday, Tony was slamming back water and back and forth. So anyway. All right. So we know today is going to be a gorgeous weather day, right? Tomorrow is going to be a gorgeous weather day. We do have those thunderstorms in for Friday. I think for us, the majority of the dynamics for those storms on Friday should be north of us. So that's good. Then Saturday and Sunday, we've got a stunning weekend. Look at that. Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Temperatures into the 70s. A few showers. And then on Tuesday, another storm. This is such an El Nino storm system 7-day forecast. One after another. You get the storms rolling in. The jet stream is sometimes helping you, sometimes hurting you. Yeah. There you go. Always fun. Gisela says the clouds were so eerie and fast last night before the band of rain. They were rocking and rolling, weren't they? Yeah. Just wild. Don't we still need the rain in some areas? You know, being that it's January, you can't really look at the yearly drought numbers, but what you can do is you can look at several different ingredients. So, for example, one of the things you can do is you can look at the Keach-Byram Drought Index. We are doing just fine. We are doing just fine. And our Fire Danger Index for the day, relatively fine. So, yeah, I think we're going to be doing pretty okay. Vanessa says, the amount of people complaining about a nothing burger needs to get a grip and realize it could have been them. You know, I agree with you, Vanessa, but here's the thing. I feel like I go through phases where I let it bother me, and then I just have to realize one thing. Like, I read some nasty emails yesterday, and I'm just like, you are people can complain. You complain, whatever. But there were people that were, like, hateful in these emails that were sent to the Wesh Weather team. And I'm like, you know what? Who in God's name sends an email to weather people to be hateful? And I was like, if there's one thing that I remember from my grandmother, if nothing else, I'll remember she said, consider the source. It's like, you went out of your way to send a hateful email to somebody you don't know. What kind of a person does that? So people are always going to complain. We're going to let it roll right off our back, Vanessa. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Chris, it's on X, bud. I'm literally looking at my Twitter feed. It's there. So I don't know what to tell you. It's live. I was in a room full of windows explaining to the kids yesterday about the weather being caused by a cold front. As I was explaining it, all the windows fogged over from the rush of cold air. Oh my gosh, Jessica, that's wild. That's something. Gotta love that. Yeah. So, Rosebud says, I remember when you answered YouTube questions. I literally did one or two already today, Rosebud, but that always makes me laugh too. Like, I remember when you used to answer questions. If I'm in the middle of a sentence, I'm not going to stop mid-sentence and go on. But okay, cool. Brian on YouTube. I'm assuming these storms will repeat throughout the year. If so, that will be interesting. In different forms, they will. Yeah. Julie over on YouTube. Miserable people are miserable. Yeah, misery loves company, so it is what it is. We just roll on. Mike says, will the storm LRC recycle for hurricane season? This is the big one, I'll say. It's definitely one of them. I'm going to be working intently on checking things out. So yeah, we will continue to watch and update. Yep. Lisa says, you and Tony were on point last night. Glad we didn't lose power. Thank you. Brian, 2-part question. Holy cannoli with the long question. How can you tell the difference between tornado wind damage versus straight line wind damage? And how is intensity of tornadoes measured? And what determines what category of tornado intensity falls in? Okay, so how do you determine if it's a tornado versus straight line wind damage? That's real easy. Some of the crap is blown that way, and some of the crap is blown that way. That's how you can tell if it's a tornado. As simple as you can. Like if there's a fence blown out, where was the fence? Did some of it go there and did some of it go there? That's how you can tell if it's a tornado versus straight line winds. Versus the intensity. There's actually a book, the National Weather. Let me see. Let me dial this up. The damage. Let's see. Damage viewer. All right. This is what the National Weather Service uses. I'll pop it up for you. Give me 2 seconds. This is the Damage Assessment Toolkit. Let me get it resized. All right. This is actually the database that the National Weather Service uses, okay? I'm getting it dialed up for you. Okay. All right. So, there it is, and then you can kind of move in. So So for example, let's just use this to scan the tornado that touched down yesterday, all right? So based on all the data, right? Pinellas tornado, I'll bring it full screen so you can see it. I could even make it a little bit bigger. Basically, this is damage 5, apartments, condos, 3 stories or less. And then Material lofted and deposited along street, no power line, tree, or vehicle damage. So what they do is they attach pictures that kind of give us ideas, and that was where the tornado was. So actually not far from my brother Frank. And so there's a whole scale, wind speed 76. So they do it, and if you look, I think I should be able to widen this out. And they probably haven't done any assessments up here yet. Yeah, they haven't done any of the assessments up into the Panhandle yet. But do we have any others that I can look up briefly? I mean, I can go back and look at the archives too. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's go from the 6th. Let's go to the 1st. Like there was that tornado down in Fort Lauderdale. And so what the National Weather Service does is, especially when there are long track tornadoes, like you can see here, and we actually will plot this on our graphics, but they're able to look, and you see how each one of those triangles that you're looking at on the screen there, each one of those triangles is a picture and an evaluation. And so each one, it tells you trees uprooted, and then based on the trees uprooting, they've got JPEG images that they attach, and they can relate it to the storm scale. Was bark removed off the trees, that sort of thing. And so that gives them the ability to plot not only a width of a tornado, but the strength of a tornado. So like that's the Fort Lauderdale tornado, and you can kind of see where it started over near Evergreen Cemetery, crossing over some of these canal communities, et cetera, and then kind of fading out right over Las Olas Boulevard. It wanted to go visit Permane Brothers and have a nice sandwich. So anyway, and what's neat is what I do is I take that exact graphic. I can actually export that polygon and put it into my weather computer. And so when we track tornadoes in our area, I can actually just say like, there it is, and it'll go right natively into our weather computer. So it's kind of something. All right. All I could think of yesterday with Tony was going to be bada bing, wind, bada boom, tornado. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good old Tony Manolfi. Well, thank you very much. They call you the weather lady. I love it. Very good. We have a granddaughter at Embry-Riddle. Kathy says, your reports kept us informed. We're getting a snowstorm here in Michigan. Ay. Who wants to deal with a snowstorm? God bless you. Come down to Florida every now and then. Frank says, I'm just on the left side of that shot. Super glad that it didn't hit you, Frank. Super glad. You were an ex-poster monster. I mean, I was definitely posting some things. But with weather that's crazy, that's what you got to do. Happy to say, though, looking ahead to this weekend's forecast, the weekend. Now, we've got some stormy weather coming Friday, but like a couple of clouds this weekend. Actually looks to be very nice. Whew. Nick, are you a South Florida native? Not a lot of people know about beachside Permanes. So I'm a Central Florida native, but the first few years of my career, I was at our sister station, WPBF in West Palm. So it was my younger days. We spent some time down at the old Las Olas. Yeah, also, you can get a pizza at Permane Brothers. What? That's something. Yeah. Will the weather Friday be anything like yesterday? It's a little, the models it's still a little early for the models to dial into that, but there you go. There's an impact day. At least. Yeah. Mickey says, my Tempest showed a sharp drop in about 5 minutes right after the initial line of storms. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there was that. Definitely there. Is it a Friday morning or afternoon event? Tammy, it looks like Friday afternoon we'll get those temperatures back to near 80 degrees. That's going to destabilize the atmosphere a little bit, and then we could get things fired back up. Yeah. Crystal, I remember when you were the news guy back when I was a kid living in West Palm Beach. Oh, that hurts. Please tell me you're still a kid. Otherwise, if you're an adult at this point and I was there when you were a kid, that's just going to hit a little harder. I mean, I was a kid. That's what I need to say to make myself feel better. Ah, crap, you're 40? Shut up. You're my age. I'm not quite 40 yet, though. Crystal, you're older than I am. I turned 40 this year, though. Nikki, go have a great day. We travel early to New York City, kiddo, for an audition. Holy crow, that's exciting. Love that. Love that. Oh, man. Brian, Eric, possibly that yesterday's storms were a recycle of the... It doesn't work that way, Brian. Every year, it's a different kind of cycling pattern. Chris is asking, no tornado sirens for Orlando. Never heard one, but did get a phone alert. Being from Kansas City, it's something we listen for. Yeah, so in Central Florida, Oviedo has tornado sirens, but that's it. So, yeah. You don't have them in Orlando. It's different out there in Tornado Alley, right? But yeah, we don't have those. So, I would suggest making sure to have ways to be notified, via the phone. What does the Models QT look like for Friday? It's not going to be as impressive, but yeah, we can take a look. I've trained some monsters. All right, so GFS model. Let's go to Friday. Where are we at? That's valid Sunday. All right, slow down. Saturday, Friday, 18Z. So, yeah, I mean, the model's barely picking up on much, but let's just do that. METAR KMCO. Yeah, I mean, first off, my first indicator, just by looking at this, not much directional shear, not much energy upstairs. It's different. Yeah, it's not as marginal severe. And I think that by the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center putting us under that marginal threat, right call. We'll get some storms. May get one or two that get a little feisty, but that'll be it. So it's an impact day. We'll watch just to let you know. Mickey says we're a community of weather nerds, and I love it. I love it. Wait a minute. St. Cloud has tornado sirens, Les? How have I lived here almost my entire life and I did not know that? David says we have them in Winter Park. David, I live in Winter Park. I've never heard a tornado siren. I feel like this is a news story, though. Like, if there are other communities that have put tornado sirens in and we don't know about it, I feel like that's worth a story. Diane says Winter Park has them. I work in Winter Park. I live in Winter Park. How do I not know? Vanessa, can we petition to get some sirens? Love, unless your petition includes $signs. I don't know. Oh, sirens at ball fields. Sure, yeah. I mean, that's going to be like lightning sirens. But as far as tornado sirens, I don't know. Rosebud says, you made me a weather nerd. Love it. I mean, it impacts all of us, so why not? Maybe it's a frequency thing like dogs. You just can't hear the sirens. I've been called a dog. You're not the first person, Taylor, to call me that. I don't even take offense to it. Oh, man. Why did I think you lived in Oviedo? I used to live in Oviedo. Yeah, I used to live in Oviedo. I grew up in this area. I'm on the Seminole County side of Winter Park. Does the West 2 studio have sirens? What, like outside the studio? No, we do have sirens in the newsroom. And when there are weather alerts, this is kind of funny. So anybody that works on an online world at all will know, like Microsoft Teams. So I've got it set so that when there are severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, things like that, it automatically shoots out to the West 2 News Teams chat. So everybody in the West 2 News world gets a Teams note. Giddy up. Mickey says, I'd rather petition to get more dang radars in our radar gaps. You think? Listen, if you watched Tony and my coverage last night, you know, like, that's a big problem. There are huge radar gaps, and I'm just grateful. And I know I say this all the time, but if you're tired of hearing it, I apologize. I am so flipping grateful, so grateful for that thing. And let me just tell you something else. That radar, okay, the ball's a little big, but it's right off of Lee Road. That's our live radar in Eatonville. Technically Eatonville, but we have a Winter Park address. I don't know how that works. Anyway, I am so flipping grateful that WESH continues to fund this radar, because it ain't cheap, okay? Listen. We are the closest radar to Ocala. And that first, I don't want to say it's so funny, but like that first tornado warning yesterday for Marion County, if I were to scroll back, weather forecast office, Jacksonville. I literally sent a picture from our radar. Let me scroll up here. Okay. I said, so there, severe thunderstorm warnings for Georgia. I send a video and I say velocity data from our radar in Marion County. And it's showing the line. And then National Weather Service in Jacksonville says, thank you, watching from National Weather Service in Tampa here as well. This helps. He sent that at 3:14. At 3:16, tornado warning. So I'd like to think, at the very least, our radar helped the National Weather Service issue that first tornado warning in Marion County. We're closest, and I had our radar tilted to 0.3, which helps. 0.3 above the horizon, which helps for the curvature of the Earth. So anyway, I am so grateful. On a day like today, like the radar, you can turn it off if you want, but I keep it running. You don't want to constantly twerk that little motor that spins. You just want to leave it going. But I've got it to like a low power setting. No wind velocity. Like if you look at our wind velocity, there's not, like that's our wind velocity right now. There's not much wind to track anyway, but we're in a super low power setting right now. Pulse repetition is low. But like, man, I'm flipping grateful that WESH continues to invest in this tool. I'm also grateful that they've helped me train for the tool, because let me tell you something. Even if you have your live radar, if you don't know what the heck you're doing with it, it doesn't matter. CC other television stations. Did I say that? Huh? What? What did he say? All right. Anyway. All right. Questions about our 7-day forecast? Otherwise, I'm going to get going. Millie says, thanks, Eric. I'm in Marion County. And you know what? Let me tell you something, Millie. The day that we got training on our radar, because I'd worked at WESH for a while before, and the radar was like, I have no idea how to use this thing. I know how to use it as a user, but I don't know how to use it as an engineer, because changing modes on the radar is so important. So important. That's how you use the radar. Anybody can interpret a radar image, but to adjust the engineering elements, when we got training on that at WESH, changed the game. I'm just going to tell you right now, that changed the game. And I can tell you a lot of people at other organizations that have their own radar have no idea what they're doing. Oh my God, my internal monologue is broken. I tried watching one of the other stations. I was waiting for your site to pull up, and the person just looked straight up confused. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anything at all? Double Campeche. Quick. His filter's broken. I need a restart. Oh, man. Sorry, Kelly. John says, I never knew radar had different modes, settings, and so on. Yeah, so long range mode. What do you mean, Yvette? I don't remember saying anything. Long range mode gives you rain, and it does a great job. And that's what most operators use for radar that don't know what the heck they're doing. Long range mode. But you crank some settings, and our Doppler, like right now, my Doppler radar is basically just an old school radar at the moment. I'm not using the Doppler long range mode. But when you start needing Doppler winds, the range has to come in. It has to come in because you have to crank up and shoot more pulses. Right now, it's a long pulse. So you're not going to get good wind data. But you need that quicker pulse repetition in order to get wind data. And you have to make a bunch of tweaks to do that. You have to know how to make a bunch of tweaks. And so, like, when Tony's on the air, I'm making a bunch of tweaks and all of this. So, yeah. Good times. Anyway. There's that. There's that. Yeah, you can watch us on wesh.com. Mickey says, your radar is super helpful, but National Weather Service radar would be amazing in North Central Florida. I agree, Mickey. And that was one of the things Tony Cristaldi had said when we had chatted with him on Coffee Talk was maybe down the line doing that. So, yeah. All right. That's it. Vanessa, you know what I'm saying, Vanessa? You know what I'm saying? All right. I'm going to go. I got to get to work, y'all. No TV newscasts for me, so I'll be posting here and there on the socials. Otherwise, have a great day and enjoy this weather. And remember, what happens on Coffee Talk stays on Coffee Talk because my internal monologue's broken, okay? Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 8. Sound good? Sound good? Bye.